Evening, everybody. This is Dr. Hack, and we're going to do something today that we don't normally do on the channel, which is we're going to play a couple of live games and then just analyze those for you. And hopefully, we're going to get one of the four openings that we've studied together, which is the Ruy Lopez, the Sicilian, the Closed Sicilian, the Caro-Kann, or the King's Indian as black. So, my commentary will likely be sparse during this because I play a lot slower when I talk. This will be a Caro-Kann. But I have high confidence that we're going to do okay because I have my genius juice next to me. Some people call that tap water. But it's fancy tap water. It has an ice cube. Right. So this guy is automatically giving us the trade without really trying to gain the tempo here, which I already know that we're ahead because of that. The other thing I think in this version of the Caro-Kann, this main line, is if this knight is here, which it is, as long as he can't put a knight here to harass the bishop, my bishop there, then I can just put the bishop, there. But because of what he did here, we're going to first give this check, and we're going to see if he goes back. He did not. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and chase this guy off. Which means that we can't develop our bishop here yet, right? Because now we don't have a knight on f6. Okay. And now we do again, so now our bishop can, in fact, develop to d6 if we want to. Okay, and we do want to. Because my ideal scenario here is actually to castle queenside. That's ideal. So this queen is now going to have to come back to attack this again. We're gonna pretend like he gave us a pin there, and this is like good stuff. We'll just pretend. This is not defending that, so I can castle. It's fine. I think the other thing that we should take note of here is that the endgame is generally better for black in the Caro-Kann, but that's only when this pawn is up here in this main line. And he doesn't have an overextended pawn, so the endgame is not going to be better for black. It's going to be better or equal. But what I can do, I suppose, is I can play the better minor piece endgame. I have the better minor piece. I have the knight. He's got the bishop. And this bishop is on all this, dark square nonsense. So what do I do to make progress now? I think we just go through the middle. I would like to try to do something with the king side, but I don't know what. Okay. We either have to defend this one more time, which is possible. No, we can defend it two more times. So we can start pushing. The reason I did it this way is because I'm worried about this move. I want to be able to play that when it happens. As I probably should be, right? Worried about this move. We're going to stop it from happening altogether now. We're not going to waste too much time in this one. I feel like I run out of time a lot when I'm trying to do live commentary. Or at least I have previous to this recording. Oh, I got smarter there. Do you guys ever see those bottles called Smart Water? And do you ever wonder if they're actually smart? I do. I wonder if they're actually smart all the time. I guess I just go back. Is he better than me? Is he worse than me? Well, I don't need to make progress. He's the one who's got to prove it. So go ahead, buddy. Prove it. Ooh. Ooh. Aha. Oh. Spicy. I don't feel that he proved it there. Certainly tried. Certainly failed. Really? Let's go here. Let's go here. That'll give me a square for the knight again because it's guarded. His check is brutal otherwise. He's probably gone with the bishop back to here, and my knight's coming back to here, though. Or some such thing. Thought so. Give my king a square, just in case. You know, one of these kind of moves could be disastrous for me otherwise. Now he's taking his time. Look at this guy. Okay. No check. Now he's going to give a check for sure, right? Wow. Unexpected. This is mine now, unless he takes the queen. I think this is fine. Is this fine? I'd like to think this is fine. Because he's got backer problems as well. I know we're going to get checked right now. Yeah. Maybe we're not fine. Oops. Queen and a passed pawn is good enough, maybe. Unless I get checkmated. Yeah. Yeah. The thing that got me into this through this end game, the one thing I was hyper focused on, was that if we go queen versus queen, then any passed pawn is winning. And it just takes a lot of time to try to maneuver your king around to get out of checks for a turn to make progress. But there usually are squares on the board that you can use to do that. It just takes a while to work them out. So the fact that I had a little more time on the clock meant that end game was going to win for me. And so I was hyper fixated on, what if I force him to trade this off somehow? How do I get that back row to force the rook trade? Whatever. Let's take a look at the analysis here. So we got our Caro-Kann, and it turned out to be a mainline Caro-Kann. Okay, and in the mainline, we're supposed to take this pawn. Remember, in our videos, we decided that our bishop needs to get outside the pawn chain before we close it, and we needed to put it here, right? So we work on that. We got it. He went back to g3, so bishop has to move. Only really one square if we want to keep it outside the pawn chain, right? And now most of the time what you'll see white start to push this pawn up the board and make you play h6. But this opponent didn't do that. And so now I have to figure out which knight move is the best. Now I think I've done e6 in the past before too, because having this bishop able to get out one move earlier is helpful. But at the same time, I have to play this move before I can put the bishop there anyways, because I have to keep this knight off of attacking it, right? And so I played the knight out first this time, although you can do both, either one. And now we are definitely going to trade, and we see that when we trade, well, a lot of draws happening in this one. Okay, and now e6 is the move. And that's a move that doesn't exist, right? Because the correct move is bishop to d2, or just castles out of the way, so that this check isn't a thing. And so after he plays bishop to f4, and I know that bishop is misplayed, I just start working on development so that I can unmisplay it. That's kind of a weird way to think about that. So I know I'm still kind of in theoretical ideas here, even if I'm not directly in theory, so the computer is going to be a big help at this point. Maybe. In differentiating between the little things. Okay, and I know that I would like to play the bishop here, but I just can't at the moment because this is a good move. Then we'd have to play the bishop somewhere else. So let's get a knight to guard that first. Okay, and now our bishop can develop. And he did make us trade it, but we're happy to do so. And now we get our knight back to f6 with tempo. This all looks normal to me. I don't see any mistakes at all so far. What we're trying to do with this analysis is we're trying to find the first mistake of the game. Where was it? Who did it? How do we not do it in the future if it's us? Kind of stuff. So castling queenside might be a problem. But again, the opponent is not playing normal stuff. Normally they'd have the pawn at c4 and we'd be playing moves like c5 to stop this from coming forward. So I decided to go into this endgame. Was that a good decision? I don't know. I could have traded queens, I suppose, if I had played here. Now there's something to think about. He can't take this because I'll get the exchange. So he would have to move the rook, and then I could trade queens. Okay, so I think this would be the first mistake. This was probably the best move, and I didn't play it. Excellent. So now we just have to figure out with the computer whether we're right or not. Is it good enough? And I don't want to go too much past the first mistake, because when you go too much further past it, that's a hope, part of the game you hope you never reach again. So if you're trying to learn tactics and whatnot, maybe you go further to try to see if there's any tactics you didn't spot. But I don't really want to go any further than this, because I think the right move was knight d7. And now I'm waiting to see if this shows up as the computer analysis finishes here. Now we wait. White was ahead by a bit there. Yeah, this is the moment, right? Right after this move, I'm now behind. White's ahead 1.1. So whatever I did here, this is the incorrect idea. Knight, where? Why does he keep jumping around? Yeah, knight d7 is the correct move. Okay, so we nailed it. We were even all the way up to here. If we look at the graph, we're even all the way up to here. And then this moment, although if I played the knight here now, in my funny accent, I suppose I could have done it a move earlier if I had really been on it, but I didn't think of that in the moment when it was important. So why would I think of it now before it's important? I don't know. Looks like I had some chances up here as well. But at this point, we had burned off his clock, and we knew we were going to win. So good game, good game. Hopefully, this format helps you guys, to get that immediate feedback. But I also suggest that you guys do this, yourselves, because the more you do this, the stronger of a player you get to be. This is making me stronger again, and I would love to see you guys get stronger. This is a King's Indian, and we've trained for this, guys. We know exactly what's going on here. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure we said e5 was the move here. We have an exact move. Wow. Okay, he took it. So we've got something different going on here. I'm pretty certain we don't trade the queens. And now we can play c6. He's going to play bishop to g5, isn't he? That's what I would do if I was him. I think this is going to be fine. I would much rather keep this knight out of my position than anything else. And now he's going to put his rook here. But that's okay, because when he does that, we'll just move out of the way now. This square needs to belong to us for the duration here. And maybe this square too. So what I guess I'm going to do now is I'm just going to start to attack this square a lot. And maybe I'll even play a5 to make sure this never gets dislodged. Here, let's get the bishop to be stuck over here. Oh, he didn't. Okay. Yeah. All right. So so now I would like to play the knight here. Slightly worried about the pin. Okay, I'm really worried about the pin. Tell you what we'll do. Wow, he's bringing it. Has been brought. He's coming here. Boom. He did it. The crazy man has done it. So I need to develop this guy so that this guy has some life here. Right now the knight can't move. So maybe I just have to come back to here and admit my mistake. It was a mistake. Yeah. My queen is completely trapped? Not really. Let's fix that just in case, though. That was a bad news squares here. Not bad news bears, bad news squares. Okay, and we're in. I mean, right? He's got bad news squares again, but we got this. Okay, what now? This piece could come out, and maybe it will. Maybe it will. It can't come here because that pawn hangs. So I guess it's here. Sure. And now because he played that pawn move, this knight belongs right there. How do I get it there? You know? But I also feel like I can't let him keep his rooks in these dangerous spots here. Looks like we're going to trade them all. Yeah, I feel like we're doing okay. Let's see here. How do we make progress? This knight could make it up to there. Now there's no pressure here. Now he wants to trade. He's like, yeah, I better trade now. No more rooks after this. Ooh, how about a fork? Thank you very much. This is going to be an interesting opening to digest because I feel like nothing happened. I don't know if you guys felt like something happened or not, but I don't think anything happened. He stayed on his half of the board, and I stayed on my half of the board. And the first time I crossed that center line was right there. And it's a win. Oh, boy. I may have to clip this out because he's taking his time to resign. Happy New Year. All right, let's check the analysis board. So we're looking at the database first. Bishop G7, top move. D6 is not the top move, but we talked about how we need to keep that back. I probably could have castled first because he didn't play E4. But the move order is going to get there anyway in the end. Okay, he went bishop E2, which is the main line. And we decided to play knight B D7, which is the third most popular, best scoring for black. Remember, we chose this when we were studying our video together. He castles. And now we play E5, which is the number one idea, the one where black's scoring the best. Okay, we're good. And he took it. And we said, oh no, he took it. That's not what we expected him to do. We expected him to push, and then we could play A5 and take over this square, and et cetera, et cetera. So here we are with very few games to go off of. But he played B3. So he clearly has some idea in mind, or he wouldn't play a really bad move if he studied it. If he's just shooting from the hip here, then fine. And I went C6. This matches 3 people. Grandmaster Hort played this. I'm tempted to just go look at his game here. I'm gonna do that. Oh, page not found. What if I hold the phone? Why can't I use this? Okay, database is down. Bad news. No problem. We didn't do what he did. We'll just put it that way. But we did do what an IM did and what a strong FM did in 2019. So, feel justified. Those guys went rook e8. I have a feeling that the queen wanted to go here in the game. This all seems normal, but we're out of database now. So let's run the computer. Actually, let's try to find the first mistake. It's probably that, right? Because probably this rook needed to go to e8 in the first place. Because I should have seen that this was going to be a pin when we knew this was coming here, right? We could see that from a mile away. As soon as the rook connected with a3, we knew the bishop was going there. Or at least that it could go there. And now my rook is pinned, and so now we got to move it back. Okay, so I feel like that's the first mistake. I'm not going to put the rook on d8 anymore. It's the wrong place for it. It needs to go on e8. The other rook here needs to go to d8. Good stuff. Okay, let's run the computer. Let's flip on the machine. El Machino. Okay. Black is scoring a ridiculous amount for this being plus 0.5. I think the computer might be mistaken on this one. Just saying. And let's just check the graph here. So it looks like we started pulling ahead, and we'd made a few mistakes, inaccuracies, and then we never looked back. 1 inaccuracy, 19 average cent upon loss. I know you can't see it at the bottom of your screen. Sorry about that. I can't scroll down any further. It's the way the software works. So this is where we started to get ahead. Rook to d8 seemed like the first mistake, yeah. And rook to e8 is the best move. Okay, good. We learned something. We did. I really hope this helps somebody, you know. I'll continue on with the end game coming up soon here. I may do a few more of these games because we didn't get any as white today. We got all black. So we'll see you guys next time. You guys take care. Bye now.